Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.
Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 12th of July. First water train reaches India's drought-hit Chennai. Suicide bombing attack in wedding. Party kills 6 in northern Afghanistan. And 9-day-long Chariot festival concludes in eastern India. And now for all the details. India's southern Chennai city is facing unprecedented drinking water crisis amid rainfall shortage this summer. The much-awaited train transporting water from neighbouring Vellore district reached water-starved Chennai city on Friday to bring in little respite to the people.
In an effort to meet the water requirements of a parched Chennai in southern India, a special 50-wagon train carrying water from Tamil Nadu's Vellore district reached the water-starved southern city on Friday. Each wagon of the special train carried around 50,000 litres of water, Provincial Minister S.P. Velumani said. Around 100 pipes were installed near the railway tracks that were to be used to supply the nearly 2.5 million litres of water from all the wagons to a treatment plant. After treatment, the water was to be sent for distribution.
12/7/2019 அன்று இன்னைக்கு பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஜோலார்பேட்டையிலிருந்து முதல் நடையாக இன்னைக்கு 2.5 மில்லியன் லிட்டர் குடிநீர் 50,000 லிட்டர் கொள்ளளவு கொண்ட 50 வேகன்களில் கொண்ட சிறப்பு ரயில் மூலம் சென்னைக்கு அனுப்பி வைக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது.
Chennai is entirely dependent on the northeast monsoon which begins in October, but last 3 months of 2018 received lower than average rainfall, with the deficit rising to as much as 80% in the month of December, according to India's Weather Office. This year's monsoon is delayed, further compounding problems across a swathe of western and central India.
In news from Pakistan, death toll rose to at least 24 on Friday in a fatal train collision incident near Pakistan's Sadiqabad, which happened on Thursday. Train accidents are common in Pakistan, where railways have seen decades of decline due to corruption and mismanagement.
Death toll rose to at least 24 on Friday in a fatal train collision, which happened on Thursday near Sadiqabad in Pakistan's Punjab province. The incident reportedly occurred when a passenger train crashed into a stationary freight train at the station in Sadiqabad city. Railways Minister Sheikh Rashid said the collision was the result of human negligence. An initial investigation report blamed the failure of the signal system for the crash, local media reports said. The injured are undergoing treatment in hospitals in Sadiqabad and neighbouring Rahim Yar Khan area. Prime Minister Imran Khan has asked the Railway Minister to take emergency steps to counter decades of neglect in railway infrastructure and ensure that safety standards are upheld. This is the second fatal train crash in Pakistan within the past month. Earlier on June 20th, at least 3 people were killed when a freight train collided with a passenger train near Hyderabad.
In news from Afghanistan, a suicide bombing at a wedding ceremony in Afghanistan's eastern Jalalabad city left 6 people dead and several others wounded. The suicide bomber is reported to be a minor who set off his explosives inside the house of a pro-government militia commander. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack.
A suicide bombing at a wedding ceremony in Jalalabad city of Afghanistan's eastern Nangarhar province left 6 people dead and several others wounded. The victims of the suicide bombing were rushed to the hospital in Nangarhar and are being treated there. A boy set off his explosives inside the house of a pro-government militia commander in Pacheragam district, a spokesman for the Nangarhar province's governor Atahullah Khogiani said.
تنهي ناوغلا يشتكين إستعجام بلان تواصل شوف بلان تواصل نور سبين رومالي بس توقعي وزان رومالي بلاستو ما كان ولا غلاز
د مراسم وو چې دی کې د وطن دښمنانو لخوا چې راغلل او په دوی باندې خپل ځان ته انفجار ورکړو او د پترس کې زمونږ 15 وطنوال شهیدان شوي دي او په لسګونه زخمیان دي.
No group has claimed responsibility for the wedding party attack. However, Islamic State militants in the recent years have carried out string of suicide bombings and attacks on government offices, schools and aid groups. Last month, Taliban militants killed at least 26 members of a pro-government militia in northern Afghanistan.
Chief of Staff of the US Army General Mark Milley has said that a premature withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan would be a strategic mistake. This comes as US officials and Taliban continue discussions centered on a US promise to withdraw foreign troops in exchange for a Taliban pledge not to let Afghanistan be used as a base for terrorism.
A premature withdrawal of US troops from Afghanistan would be a strategic mistake. General Mark Milley, President Donald Trump's nominee to be the country's top military officers, said on Thursday. General Mark Milley, currently the Army's Chief of Staff and nominee to head the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing that the war in Afghanistan would eventually be brought to an end through a negotiated settlement with the Taliban. He added that there was some progress in that effort.
We went to Afghanistan for a single purpose, to make sure it never again becomes a platform for a terrorist strike on the United States of America like 9/11. There hasn't been one, and we've been successful to date. It is hard, though, but I think the conditions at the end of the day will be a negotiated settlement with the Taliban.
This comes as the US and the Taliban continue negotiations on the withdrawal of foreign troops from Afghanistan in return for a commitment that Afghanistan will never again be used to launch terrorist attacks against the United States and its allies. US Special Peace Envoy Zalmay Khalilzad has described the latest round of talks with the militant group as the most productive yet.
In news from Bangladesh, heavy monsoon rains have started damaging refugee camps in Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar city just like last year. Thousands of Rohingya refugees living in the camps have been displaced, and emergency packages of food are also being prepared under World Food Programme as the situation is serious.
Thousands of people have been displaced within the Rohingya refugee camps of Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh over the last few days after heavy monsoon rain started last week, causing flooding and landslides. At least one person is also believed to have died, according to the World Food Programme or WFP charity. WFP has assisted 11,000 refugees affected by the severe weather, providing emergency packages of food.
And the situation is serious. Thousands of people have been displaced and thousands more have damage to their homes. But WFP is well prepared for incidents like this, and we prepare all year round for it. For example, we have emergency food supplies pre-positioned around the camps so that we can respond quickly when needed. And in this instance, we were able to get emergency food supplies to people within the space of 12 hours.
Meanwhile, thousands of Rohingya refugees are working at securing the hills which surround their camps using stabilizing terraces made of filled cement piping and sandbags to try and secure the slopes from further landslides. Last year, 5 children were killed near Cox's Bazar following heavy monsoon rains in southeastern Bangladesh. The severe weather in the region is forecast to continue until July 16.
Forest officials in India's western Gujarat province are using radio collars to track the movement of lions and learn about their habitats. The authorities aim to protect the endangered species of Asiatic lions in the region with the tracking devices.
Forest officials in India's western Gujarat province are using radio collars to track the movement of lions and learn about their habitats with the aim to protect the endangered species of Asiatic lions. Tracking devices have been fitted on as many as 25 lions living in Gir forests and nearby areas. The forest department in the province aims to put radio collars that have been imported from Germany on 75 lions in the first phase of the campaign.
उससे हमें एनिमल की मूवमेंट का पता चलेगा और इस मूवमेंट से अगर रेवेन्यू विलेजेस में अगर ये लायन जा रहे हैं, रेगुलरली जा रहे हैं तो हमें पता चलेगा और हम स्टाफ को डायरेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि वो उस जगह पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा पेट्रोलिंग करे और मैन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट इससे कम हो जाएगा। इसी के रेडियो कॉलर के डेटा के चलते हुए हमें उस एनिमल्स की एक टेरिटरी का भी पता चलेगा और रिसर्च में भी ये डेटा काफ़ी हेल्पफुल होंगे।
India's top court had ordered to move some of the lions to a separate sanctuary in 2013 after wildlife experts and activists said the relocation was essential to protect the lions from potential calamities like disease outbreaks. As many as 600 lions live on the roughly 850 square miles long expanse of the Gir Wildlife Sanctuary that is surrounded by clusters of human settlements.
Love and kindness are never wasted. A 76-year-old auto rickshaw driver in Indian capital New Delhi is setting an example with his kindness and humanitarian work. Harjinder Singh runs free auto ambulance, making this world a better place to live.
Hundreds of auto rickshaws can be seen plying on the roads of India's capital, New Delhi, Delhi. But there's one auto rickshaw and its driver that stands out. 76-year-old Harjinder Singh has been serving his auto as a free ambulance for road accident victims. As a former traffic warden, Singh saw crash victims and wanted to help them. He then bought an auto and started the free services. Apart from providing free rides to the hospital, the senior citizen has also taken a course in first aid to help victims in emergency situations.
ये मैं मन से तन से सेवा करता हूँ और लोगों को अच्छा जीवन देने के लिए जैसे सड़क पे कोई दुर्घटना हो जाती है तो मैं उसको उठा के अस्पताल पहुँचा देता हूँ ताकि अगर वो समय पे अस्पताल पहुँच जाए तो डॉक्टर उसकी जान बचा देंगे और वो परिवार को अच्छे ढंग से चलाएगा। और जब तक एम्बुलेंस नहीं आती या पुलिस की पीसीआर नहीं आती तो वो बेचारा वहीं तड़पता रहता है। तो जिस वजह से मैंने ये सेवा जो है 1978 से कर रहा हूँ।
Singh said that the satisfaction of helping someone in need and gratitude shown by people keeps him going throughout the day. He said that he will continue to serve the people till his last breath. Singh plies the auto for extra hours to earn money for the ambulance runs. He has helped hundreds of people in Delhi and saved multiple lives since 1978.
Millions of Hindu devotees gathered in India's eastern Puri city as the annual Chariot festival concluded on Friday with the return of Hindu Lord Jagannath to his abode. The annual festival marks the journey of Lord Jagannath and his siblings to their aunt's house.
Millions of devout Hindus on Friday converged in Puri city of India's eastern Odisha province as the annual Chariot festival concluded with the return of Hindu Lord Jagannath to his abode Jagannath Puri temple. The Chariot return is held 8 days after the annual Rath Yatra or Chariot festival that marks the journey of Lord Jagannath and other deities from their aunt's house to the main temple. As per Hindu mythology, idols of deities Lord Jagannath, his brother Balbhadra and sister Subhadra are brought back to Jagannath Puri temple from Gundicha temple, nearly a mile away. Devotees offered prayers, priests performed rituals and played cymbals as the chariots were brought back.
This is the first time that I've come to Puri during Rath Yatra. I've heard a lot about it. I've come to Puri several times in my life, but this is the first time I've experienced something like this. This is really amazing.
Devotees consider the pulling of the chariots with ropes a pious deed and risk their lives in the huge crowd. They traditionally pull 3 giant chariots, nearly 45 feet high, with thick ropes amid frenzied chanting of the hymns. A glimpse of Lord Jagannath on the chariot is considered to be very auspicious, and saints, poets and scriptures have repeatedly glorified the sanctity of the festival.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Tag TV brings you daily news bulletin from India. Breaking news and views from India.